even though it has Tom Hanks, a huge star, the most people don't remember that movie.
Burbs is just like good, wholesome fun. Movie brings families together. You also have the very annoying character,
Brewster. I mean, you're gonna need all the help you can get, right?
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Screen Scuffle.
My name's Blaze.
And my name is James.
And this episode, we are battling. The battle I titled is called There Goes the Neighborhood. It's about the nosy, pesky neighbors. Somebody moves into the neighborhood and all the neighbors, or at least one of them, in one circumstance in this film, are upset about a new neighbor that moved in. But anyways, you're going to be defending the Burbs. I will be defending the film Fright Night. And let's just get right into it. Fright Night is the ultimate midnight movie. I'll give it to you. Burbs is also a midnight movie. Mm-hmm. This is the battle of midnight movies, but Fright Night is the ultimate midnight movie.
Totally.
It brings back the universal almost style of classic monsters. You got a character that's kind of like Dracula in here, the classic vampires. And it's just got the ultimate midnight vibes. Like you turn this on at 11:59 p.m. You're having a good day for that 1 minute. And then you're having a good night the rest of the night and probably the next day because you're going to feel great after you watch this movie.
But the thing is, it's not Dracula. It's Jerry the vampire. Very less scary.
You don't have to be afraid of me.
No, I love Fright Night. It's got some great practical effects. It's a fun movie. But you know what also is a fun movie with great practical effects? The Burbs. And it's the better of the two. And it's the one that more people need to see. It's a classic that hasn't been remade because you can't outdo it.
Oh, this is in the works to get remade with Jonah Hill or something.
That's definitely not happening. But Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher just make this movie so much fun. But it's also just the specialty of Joe Dante just making movies that are horrific, aimed for adults, but accessible to kids, and just like the perfect amount of scary that just sets kids up for like an awesome future of loving horror films. We love Joe Dante. He made classic films like Gremlins, Small Soldiers, all movies that are geared towards kids, but are really not for kids when you watch that movie. And so The Burbs goes along perfectly with it. And I don't know why it's just not as well known. Same thing with Fright Night. Both these movies, I'd say Fright Night is definitely the more popular of the two, but both movies are very underrated. But like, the cult audiences are diehard for both these movies though. But just The Burbs is just such a fun rewatchable movie. Corey Feldman's hilarious in it. It's just a weird concept for a movie of a guy like, it's not even he's just being like that weird or nosy of a neighbor. He's just bored from work and just wants to do a staycation. And this is what he does. Versus your kid is just like obsessed and really weird.
But he has every reason to be obsessed and creeped out because there's an actual vampire named Jerry who's moving in next door.
We actually have people who have bones in their basement and stuff too. And also your guy is weird. He's like about to lose his virginity and is just like, no, I'd rather look out the window. What kind of weird high school kid is this?
Oh yeah. Fright Night for me, like I know that you have Tom Hanks, you're boasting, you have a really good cast in your film.
Yeah.
And you might look at Fright Night, you might look at this poster here and you might be like, who do you guys have? Who do you guys have really? Peter Vincent?
Classic.
AKA Roddy McDowell in the role of Peter Vincent. I think Peter Vincent is one of the most fun roles. And if to just bring up the remake for 1 second, the reason I also like the Fright Night remake is it's so different than this original film. I love this original film much better, but they actually remade it with a different aspect. That Peter Vincent, David Tennant's version is equally as entertaining, but it's so different than Roddy McDowell's version of Peter Vincent. He's just the classic midnight host, almost like an Elvira as a midnight movie horror host, but he's also happens to be a vampire hunter. I just love that aspect and I love that part about this movie. I thought it was so entertaining. It's so funny at times, and this film does a great job of just tackling that horror comedy genre, where at the time I feel like not that many films did it without doing it in a super cheesy style way. Like this still feels like it's just a ton of fun.
I'd say it's a little bit more serious, but it's also definitely feels more like an 80s movie versus my movie, even though it's from the 80s as well. Doesn't feel as much of like a timestamp period. It feels like very much like that's what the Burbs is like right now still too. Just add in cell phones and then you have the same
and
movie
HOA
basically.
Fee too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Homeowners Association. I got to throw that in there. Yeah, but this movie also just like there's something just crisp and awesome about it. Maybe it's because I live in Los Angeles. I go to the Universal Studios tour all the time, and just driving down Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives, it's the same street from The Burbs. I always get upset when I'm on that tour and they don't bring up The Burbs. Really upsets me because I'm like, damn, like you had Tom Hanks and Corey Feldman back here and stuff.
But there's a reason that on the tour that they bring up Desperate Housewives is because The Burbs is that forgettable.
Damn, it's not a movie that you forgot about though.
No, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie, but the majority of people, even though it has Tom Hanks, a huge star, the most people don't remember that movie. Sadly, unlike most of Joe Dante's other movies. I honestly think Joe Dante is a great director. He's probably one of my favorites, but The Burbs is probably one of his, it's on the side of being a weaker movie. It's hard to just for people to sit down and watch The Burbs. You're going to be pleasantly surprised if you do, but it's just hard for people to get past it sometimes of like even starting it, you know?
I love that this is the movie though that you like forced me to watch The Burbs. I forgot what the situation was, but I remember there was a time where you're just like, no, you gotta watch The Burbs. This movie is so good.
It was because I watched it on, but for some reason I watched it on somebody who's got a brand new TV, but they had that True Motion on where it's like 100 frames per second or whatever. And the movie was like torture. Like I felt tortured. I was like, what is going on? Because every shot, like any slow zoom was like a really fast zoom, like office style zoom into Tom Hanks's face. And the movie was like unintelligible. It was like the most like the worst way I've ever witnessed a film was The Burbs. It had nothing to do with The Burbs. It was just the way that the TV was set up. And I asked to change it multiple times. And they're like, no, I like that. And I was like, I hate this. Like, I hate the way that this is being presented. So I literally had to watch it the next day just normal. I'm like, wow, this movie is actually good. I literally couldn't comprehend the movie the first time I saw it because the way it was being presented was literally 30 frames more than it deserved. It needs to be in a crisp 24 frames per second like all cinema is.
What a dirtbag. I'm sorry you had to watch it that way. This amazing classic movie starring Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher and Corey Feldman.
But we didn't get into Roddy McDowall. I mean, we'll get into him in a future episode as well. We'll get into Roddy McDowall. I think he's a really underrepresented actor. He's somebody who's always nailed pretty much every part that he's been in. He's really a great actor, but Fright Night really gave him something to work with. It gave him a meaty role that had like multiple aspects and angles he could take it, and I think he really nailed it.
Totally.
I mean, I guess you would say that your movie might have the stronger villain compared to my movie and stuff too, but just like I really enjoyed well, your movie does have good. The
twists and turns in my movie.
There's not as many though, because like there at one point in my movie though, there's like, well, I don't want to spoil it because if you haven't seen The Burbs, you have to watch The Burbs. But yeah, there's like a lot of good twists and turns, and it's not till the final ending of the movie where you really finally figure out like what the whole scenario story was and everything too. Like I thought this movie just takes the better take of like the Rear Window, like Disturbio. Like a lot of people remember that because it's more modern and stuff too. But just The Burbs really keeps you on your toes with not knowing what it is till we get to the final minutes of the movie.
It's over, pal.
Versus Fright Night, it's very spelled out. So I guess my movie has just the better twists and turns. And you also have the very annoying character, the sidekick guy. I know it's played by Fogel in the remake, but just like, oh my gosh, he's god awful dealing with in your movie.
Amy, what are we gonna do? This is just like Fright Night.
Brewster.
No. That Charley Brewster is the main character, but he's always saying like Brewster.
Yeah.
And like his voice is just so annoying. I agree, he's annoying.
Yeah.
But you know, he gets his just desserts. So.
Just desserts.
But yeah, like for me, this movie's comfort food. I think since I first popped this movie in and watched it, it was something that I immediately gravitated towards, really enjoyed it. I could say similar things about The Burbs, but this is a movie that I've revisited multiple times throughout my history of watching cinema. And this is just like a classic comfort food. For me, this is like when you go to the movies, you have popcorn. When I want to watch a movie after midnight, Fright Night.
That's a specific scenario. Both movies are 4-star movies in my eyes. Love both these. I can rewatch them all the time. The Burbs, TikTok, YouTube. I don't want kids ever. Nothing against kids. They ain't for me. This movie makes me want to like sit down with like a future like figurative son and just be like, hey boy, let's watch The Burbs. You're gonna love this movie. This is a great movie. This is a great family time. I watched this with my dad. Like when you showed it to me, I was like, this is a great movie. I need to watch this with my dad. The Burbs is just like good, wholesome
Brought you
fun
guys
with
together.
a great amount of horror. Yeah. Movie brings families together. Yeah.
Oh, my dad doesn't appreciate horror, so this didn't bring us together in any way. But he also doesn't know that this film exists.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, I think we kind of know who the victor is here. But leave a comment below, guys. Let us know which film you appreciate more. Is it going to be The Burbs, which James is fighting for, and I'm defending Fright Night, of course. So we're gonna wrap it or throw the mic over to producer Jordan and see who he thinks won this battle. But definitely leave a comment below and let us know who you thought won.
Look, I think The Burbs was great, but I liked Fright Night better. So I think Blaze is the winner here. Fright Night's a more memorable movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Well, anyways, guys, like I said, leave a comment below. Let us know who you thought won this battle. Also, what film you prefer more, and what you're gonna go watch tonight.
Thanks so much for checking us out. After doing that, be sure to catch all our social media links down below. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own Letterboxd accounts.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
Yeah, tune in next week for another episode of Fresh Releases, and also we'll have future Screen Scuffle battles coming your way soon.